Okay, so Camp 3 has a beautiful nuclear power station in the background, flanked by some various villages here in Essex. So let's see how tonight goes.
Over the course of 1 year, I'm attempting to spend one night out under the stars each month. This is my 12 camps challenge. Why? I believe we don't get outside enough. And if you don't engage with something, you don't have any reason to care about it. I see our outdoors being mistreated. So I want to go out and experience the outdoors throughout the seasons and fall in love with it. I have 5 rules. 1. Solo camping only. 2. A different style of camping each time. 3. A different location each time. 4. Rain or shine. 5. Self-sustained. And the last rule, that is the fundamental principle of being outdoors, leave no trace. So join me on my 12 camps challenge. Right, for this camp I'm off to Tolesbury to spend a night bivvying on a little island at the end of the Tollesbury Marshes. Tolesbury in Essex is not a random choice. My oldest and bestest friend Chris lives here with his wife and kids. He discovered the island years ago while out on a run.
Hello.
When I told him about my 12 camps challenge, he suggested the island because it was somewhere he always wanted to camp himself but had never gotten around to doing it. So he thought I might as well give it a go. Over a catch-up and a slice of cake, I discovered Chris had a sneaky plan.
We're at a pub because we missed the window for the tide. Actually, you turned up late, so now we can't get on the island because the tide's going to be there. By the time we walk the 2 miles there, we won't get across. So, might as well come to the pub.
After a quick pint, Chris collected his bike and we were on our way. Chris will be walking me to the island, which is about 2 and a bit miles away. Then he'll use his bike to cycle home.
So we're here, we'll walk along there, along there, that pillbox there, and then...
That's the island?
Yeah, the spit. And this is the bit you kind of got to go across at low tide. And if not, there's a camp just here, which is a bit further up towards this point.
The area we're embarking upon is Tollesbury Wick Marshes, an ancient place that was once used for salt production in the Iron Age, and even today it has an active oyster trade. Following a path leading out of the marina along the seawall, we were off into a flat, rugged world, with a strange reference point ahead of us on the horizon, a decommissioned nuclear power station.
It's pretty windy. It's colder than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's freezing, mate. You're going to be in your sleeping bag, like, from now.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Chris has camped out near the island before, so I wanted to get some info.
I always thought about sleeping on it, and you're going to do it without me, basically. I thought it was going to be a real friendship thing that we've like camped all these wicked places together, that's something we'd do, but you just decided that you need to do it for YouTube, so you're going to do it on your own.
I mean, I can't argue because that is technically correct, but it is something I wanted to do with you as well, man. It's just, you know, the rules are the rules.
So I just want to see another video where you suffer all night. You don't walk off a mountain crying in the rain and your wife has to come pick you up. Loser! You know that's illegal, don't you? Holding a child's classic. Maybe don't put that in there.
So how far from here do you think?
To what?
Till we get there?
1 mile. Literally 1 mile.
So the tide is coming in?
Yeah, because we're on a neap tide, is it?
Yes, I told you that, yeah. Yeah, don't pretend that
Yeah, so we're on a neap tide right now, which means that the tide isn't that high. The moon's actually quite far away from the earth.
Say everything goes wrong tonight. Can I get back to your house?
I mean, if it goes wrong in the night, you'll probably just die in your sleep. I'm going to be thinking of you in my 13.5 tog duvet. With my 13.5 tog. I'd be looking forward to the rain.
Yeah.
If I was you, that 9 o'clock rain, 12 o'clock rain.
Yeah. Is it 9? I thought it was midnight it was going to rain.
I think it's 9 and 12.
Oh, God. This is the island.
Yeah.
Okay, this is actually better than I...
Is it?
Yeah, this is tons
go
better.
on, yeah.
It's massive.
Yes, it's really long. Basically, that's the bit you got to cross to get there, and that's why we can't do it at the moment, because it's high tide.
How deep do you think that is?
Right, waist, but it's muddy underneath, so it's not like waist, and you can on safe walking,
really
you're just
silty.
like sinking. And then that's the other place. Over there, there's like a secluded bit where you'd camp if you were normal. This would be the backup, yeah?
Who would have thought there's a little beach down here in Tolesbury? So is this where you come in summer?
Yeah, well, there's easier ones to get to. Well, I'd say nicer ones, but less muddy around there. And
Do you just bathe in the nuclear power runoff?
yeah, it's like a couple of degrees warmer. Yeah. Ta-da! This is...
Pristine.
Last time I slept here, there's a seal in the water when we woke up in the morning. Like a seal popped his head up in the water.
You sure that was a seal and not something from the power station?
It said hello.
Did it shake your hand?
Yeah, it came out, had 2 legs. I don't think there's anything better over the other side. I think this is...
I guess I'd have a little walk around because I've got some time to kill. I guess I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, right. I'll go back for a nice warm dinner, so...
Bye. Kind of wish he was here. Feels a bit out of order being in his backyard without him. No, it's fine.
So what Trent doesn't realise is I'm coming back. No way I'm letting him sleep on that island without me. I'm going to grab some beersies from the shop and head back down and surprise him. It is going to ruin his YouTube rules, but yeah, I don't care. What Trents don't realise is that in these bags full of wood, so we can have a nice sort of toasty fire later. We'll hide them down there.
While Chris was scheming, I put on some extra layers and went to find a route onto the island.
Oh, okay. First issue, no public access. 1st of April until the 31st of August, so that's not a problem for me. I am currently in March. The island actually looks really close, tantalizingly close. I think it's probably quite shallow and then just gets deep as you get closer to it, but how deep that channel is, I don't know. And I'm definitely not gonna try now. I'm gonna get soaking wet. I guess now is the waiting game. I'll head back and figure out what I'm gonna do.
The island looks very exposed to the conditions, but habitable. It'll be a pretty unique night. It is a really windy afternoon, making the temperature feel a lot colder. I get some extra layers on and head to the Plan B area to get out of the wind, have a coffee and wait for the tide to recede. Essentially, tides work on a 6-hour cycle, 6 hours to get to their highest, 6 hours to get to their lowest, so I need to cross onto the island when the tide is low and safe. It's going to take a few hours until the tide is low enough to attempt a crossing. It's starting to get dark and it's starting to get wet, earlier than anticipated. I wanted to get ahead of the rain. Being cold and wet starts a spiral of misery. Whenever I'm near the sea, the weather always seems to be a force unto itself, and so this rain is much earlier than expected.
I can feel myself getting a bit damp, so I think what I'll do is just get in my bivy bag now so that my clothes don't get super wet, because then it'll make it really difficult later when it starts raining.
The problem with a bivy bag is that they're essentially a body bag, like what you would get in a morgue. There's no room for manoeuvring inside like you would in a tent. When it begins to rain heavily later, I won't have the space to change from my wet clothes and get into my dry sleeping bag. In fact, if I don't get my dry sleeping bag transferred inside the bivy bag right now, then the sleeping bag will get wet when I have to do it later in the rain, and then it will stay wet inside the bivy bag all night. It's a pretty crummy position to be in due to this unexpected rain. I once again found myself on the back foot with no plans for earlier than forecasted rain. I'd managed to stay fairly dry so far and kept everything in order. My next aim was to get my food cooked as quick as I could in case the heavens opened and I'd need to retreat inside the bag.
I'm damp and I'm wet, so everything is just sticking to the sand. And there's these horrible little critters around, these little sand mites, and I really don't want to get eaten alive by them, but I'm sure it will be okay. In fact, the last time I bivvied out using this red bivvy, I woke up to slugs on my face. It was horrible. If only it would just stop raining. If it wasn't just like raining, it would be so much more bearable. It's just obviously everything's just wet. Oh my god, that's a big one. Anyway, the food's good at least. Crack on with this. So I'm in the bivy bag. It's much nicer inside, but it kind of defeats the enjoyment of being here. You know, like I want to see outside, I want to take in the night view and everything. I mean, my only little exciting thing going on in here are my little treats. Got a whole bag of them. The goal for this had been to kind of like connect back with being outdoors, the fun and adventure of things, and being wet inside of a plastic bag is not my idea of an adventure. Willingly putting myself in this situation and not enjoying it just seems so stupid. The feeling of just leaving and just going back to Chris's and having a beer with Chris is so huge. The rain has... No, it has. I was going to say the rain's kind of stopped, but it's still raining, as you can see. I guess this is the problem with trying to do things in, like, winter.
At some point I trapped myself on the mainland. I'd slowly given up on my plan of getting on the island. The reasoning was it would be foolhardy in such darkness, and in my attempt to keep everything dry, I'd made myself a huge challenge to set up a new camp on the island. I'd lost my inspiration.
There's a light. There's a light. Chris? Chris?
Okay, that.
What are you doing here?
How you doing, man?
Yeah.
Bit wet, innit?
Yeah. Yeah. It's to be honest, mate. It's...
I thought that when I was cycling here, I thought, oh man, should have just stayed at home. Fancy a beer?
You've done a beer run?
Yeah, mate.
Oh, mate, I don't believe you're here. Oh, I can move about now. I've got some new life. Oh, God.
Cheers, man.
With Chris's arrival came a brief calming of the rain and a whole new lease of energy for me. As much as I believe in my solo-only rule in this challenge, I wasn't going to ask Chris to leave. His presence was more than welcome on this damp, miserable evening. He'd brought firewood, beers and his own bivy bag with him and set to work starting a fire in less than ideal conditions. We appreciated the fire for a short while before getting into our bivvies.
You've got a duffel bag that you're putting your feet in, is that right? Can you just take the camera and just show the camera what your plan is?
Hopefully. I've got a sneaky, look at that. Oh yeah.
So tell the camera what you're...
That's a dead reindeer.
Oh, you've put the sand up as well.
What's that? I've made a pillow. I'm not stupid, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like...
That is some forward thinking.
This is not my first rodeo, man.
You're literally like a lollipop.
Look at that. Comfortable, isn't it? Oh, no, mate.
Yeah, good night. Oh no, what did you just... So you've been in for 5 seconds. What did you just say?
My feet are f***ing freezing.
How are your feet freezing?
I don't know. I think maybe they've been cold the whole time, but I didn't realise. Still be there in the morning, wouldn't they?
They'll still be on the end of your legs, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We chatted for a while, then the fire went out and it got truly dark.
Morning.
Morning, mate.
How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. That rain was insane last night, wasn't it?
I didn't feel any rain last
Did you not?
night. No.
You didn't look like you moved all night.
I moved loads last night. I thought I would kind of keep you awake because of my rustling.
No, I was completely rustling all over the place.
I woke up with a startle because I thought that the GoPro was in the sea.
No, I'd been like been sticking my head out throughout the night. I got out for a piss as well.
Did you?
Yeah, in the pouring rain.
What time did it rain?
Like most of the night, but like some of it was quite heavy.
God, I really did not experience that at all. I honestly thought to myself, God, how ironic it's been so dry over the night, whereas when I kind of first arrived it was soaking wet.
No, it really rained, like way worse.
Chris was in no rush to leave, so we cracked out the coffee, and for the first time on my 12 camps challenge, I relaxed and I took in the environment. Chris started packing all the gear onto the bike for our walk back, and I went to see how far out the tide had got, because this would be the same distance as it was last night in the darkness, and I never got to see how far it was. I was stunned to see that it was actually really far out. It had really dropped low.
Well, it looks like it's really possible to get onto the island.
Yeah, very easily, that's what I was saying.
Should we have a look? The island is really exposed. Ooh. Gotta be careful. It looks like it's very much possible to get on there, although that mud looks pretty precarious. Give it a go. Go and see if you can. No. Oh, no way. No.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay.
All right.
This is the way
bummer.
you'd have come across though. You'd have come across that little bit.
It's a couple hours past peak high tide, which means that last night I could have came and done this and got there in relative safety, but obviously it was very wet when I was on my own before Chris had came over, and I'd kind of made my bed literally by that point. So, oh well. Yeah, we could have done that Ogles last night.
Yeah, mate. The old chariot.
Camp number 3 completed. A bivvy on the Tollesbury Marshes. It's been a great night out, really. Like, I wasn't cold, wasn't uncomfortable. It was nice to be in these elements, and I think it was ultimately a success.